The guards follow as I move to the balcony, looking out over Mother's gardens. She did love them so. Even in winter, they are beautiful. There's a sudden hiss by my cheek that ends in a thump as Fasik stumbles behind me. I turn and catch him, seeing the arrow embedded in his shoulder. From the tear in his shirt and the dent in the armor plate beneath, it seems to have skittered off the armor over his heart to reach the nearest seam. The shot should have killed him. I turn back to look along its path. I don't have night eyes like Darren, or my helm with its wards of sight, but like my strength, my senses have always been sharp. Moonlight and window lamps are enough for me to spot the shooter, perched on the opposite rooftop of the inner courtyard, nearly invisible in sharoon black. Already they have another arrow in the air. I don't know if it's meant for me or Fasik, but my brother takes no chances, launching himself in front of me and taking a second hit. There's a flare of ward light, and this one strikes with a bang, punching through armor and a lung. My brother coughs blood in my face as I ease him to the floor. The arrows are embedded deep. It would be foolish to remove them now, without proper equipment and a safe space to work. Looking at Fasik's blood-soaked robes, I realize why the assassin shot him and not me. In Krasia, I wore only my Tajan armor and sharoon blacks. The shooter must not have recognized the new attire and mistaken my bodyguard for me. Likely they still haven't figured it out. Teresa is terrified. Becca is racing across the chamber, but she's not fast enough. I grab the spear from Fasik's shoulder.
Sound the alarm and fetch a gatherer!
I race onto the terrace. I do not know if the shooter has realized their mistake or is simply responding to a new threat, but as I charge out, they raise their bow for another shot. I throw first, with little time to aim. It costs me my weapon, but I have no harness to stow it anyway, and will need my hands. My aim is true enough for my purpose, causing the archer to fumble the shot as they dodge. I spin around as I hop onto the marble railing of Mother's balcony, running 2 strides before I leap. My first 2 steps connect with the vertical wall, propelling me higher. I coil and spring on the second, catching the lip of the roof. Another arrow shatters against the stone, missing my scant inches. As I kip and flex, swinging up onto the roof, I land in a roll, keeping low. Unlike Fasik, I have no armor to blunt the impact. My stiff riding jacket looks quite dashing, but it might as well be a sheet of paper against a powerful Krasian shortbow. Another mistake. I thought here of all places I could feel safe, but perhaps the time has come to accept I will never be safe again. Any court garb will need armor pockets like the Krasians use, and I'll need more than just my hanjar about my person. I catch sight of the shooter again, perched unnaturally on a sheer wall bathed in shadow. He's got Hora, and the sun has set. I won't have the advantage as I did against my Krivok brother. But I do not hesitate, Fasik's blood still wet on my face. I do not know if my spear brother will live, but I will not let his attacker escape. I charge along rooftops to circle around to him in the skittering, irregular steps we use in the maze to confuse wind demons. The assailant does not waste his shots, but twice more arrows shatter on stone, inches from my head or chest. They do not flee, perhaps thinking me a fool as I make it to their side of the roof and emerge into their line of sight. Perhaps I am, but I have the archer's measure now. The next arrow comes straight for my heart, but I am quicker, batting it aside with my hanjar. The assassin's nerve breaks then, and they turn to flee as I pick up speed. They have a man's build, but they move like a dancer, racing along what is no doubt a practiced escape route. But I grew up running the rooftops of Mother's Keep with Darren and Selen. I know every inch of them, from the patrol areas to the rooftop gardens, every chimney and water tower, every slope of warded tile. He disappears over a steep tile crest, but I know the wraparound terrace on the other side and take a shortcut. Leaping onto one of the guest balconies and smashing through the doors to race through the thankfully empty chamber to the terrace doors on the other side. I fling them open just as the assassin drops down. Somehow, he manages to turn and shoot one more time before I reach him. I twist, feeling the arrow punch into my side, but I am so full of fury I barely feel it as I tackle him into the marble railing. We hit hard.